The giant viewing chamber of the Galactic Confederation ship buzzed with excitement. Creatures from 37 different worlds stood watching as the small Earth ship came closer. Some had tentacles, others had wings, but all watched with careful eyes. Ambassador Tay stood at the front of the room. His tall, thin body and large eyes marked him as Vosari, an insect-like species known for their calm thinking. His antennae moved slightly as he studied the approaching human vessel. "They are so new to space," said Director June, standing beside. "Tay." June's blue scales caught the light from nearby stars. Barely 200 years since their first airplane, and now they travel between stars. Admiral Sun moved forward, her 4 arms crossed against her chest. "New, yes, but look how they fly, perfect control, better than many of our own pilots." The human ship was indeed moving with surprising skill. It lined up with the docking area and connected with a soft click that impressed even the doubtful members of the crowd. The room went quiet as the airlock door opened. 3 humans walked out. They were shorter than many of the aliens, but walked with clear confidence. The one in front wore a simple blue uniform with silver stars on the shoulders. "Captain Hyun of Earth's United Space Command," the human said with a small bow. "Thank you for finally inviting us to meet." Ambassador Tay stepped forward. "Welcome, aboard the Harmony Light. I am Tay of the Vosari, speaking for the Galactic Confederation." Captain Hyun smiled. "We've waited a long time for this day, almost as long as you've been watching us." A wave of whispers spread through the crowd. Tay's antennae stiffened in surprise. "Watching you?" he asked carefully. "The observation satellites. Around Jupiter," said another human, a woman with short black hair. "And the probes near Mars, very well hidden. We found them 3 years ago." Admiral Sun leaned toward Director June. "That's not possible. Those systems use our best hiding technology." The third human, a tall man with a friendly face, spoke up. "We didn't mean to surprise you. We thought it best to let you watch until you were ready to talk." Later that day, the highest leaders of the Confederation met in their private meeting room. The mood was tense. "They should not have found those watching stations," said Admiral Sun. "No young space species could have spotted them." Director June nodded. "Either they're much more advanced than we thought, or they have help," finished Commander Do, a member of the Drekthar Alliance. The Drekthar were known for their fighting skills and quick anger. "Perhaps another species is giving them technology." Ambassador Tay shook his head. "I sense no lies in them. They found our stations on their own, and instead of attacking what they might have seen as spies, they simply waited for us to introduce ourselves." "Patient and clever," said Admiral Sun. "Her dangerous mix." In another part of the ship, Captain Hyun and her team were being shown to their rooms. The human woman, Dr. Min, was scanning everything with a small device. "Their technology is amazing," she whispered to Captain Hyun. "Some of it works on principles we haven't even discovered yet." Captain Hyun nodded. "And did you notice how they watch us? They're afraid." "Afraid?" asked the third human, Dr. Park. "They have ships bigger than our largest cities. Why would they fear us?" "Because we surprised them," said Captain Hyun. "They expected simple apes fresh from the trees. Instead, they found us waiting for them, aware of their spies and ready to talk as equals. Nothing scares a careful planner more than an unknown factor." In the shadows of a nearby hallway, Commander Du of the Drekthar listened to the humans talk. His people had fought their way to power and respected strength above all. These humans were too confident for such a young species. Someone needed to test their true strength. He touched the communication device on his wrist. "Prepare a small attack force," he whispered. "Find a minor human outpost, something not too important. We need to see how they react when challenged." Twami. Next morning, Ambassador Tay welcomed the humans to the Grand Meeting Hall. Hundreds of aliens watched as Captain Hyun signed the first friendship agreement between Earth and the Galactic Confederation. "This begins a new chapter for all our worlds," said Tay. Captain Hyun smiled and shook his hand. "We look forward to learning from each other." Neither knew that far away, Commander Do's ships were already moving toward a small human research base on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. The Confederation was about to learn exactly why fighting humans was a terrible idea. The red dust of Mars swirled around the hidden base, As Science Director Jin looked through the powerful telescope, the Earth hung in the black sky like a blue marble, turning slowly. Jin had been watching humans for 60 days now, and every day brought new surprises. "They are not what we expected," she said to Commander Han, who stood nearby checking data, screens. Han nodded, his grey skin wrinkling around his eyes. The Confederation thought they were simple creatures who got lucky with their technology, but there is nothing simple about them. Jin pointed to one of the screens showing a group of humans climbing a tall mountain on Earth. Snow blew around them, and the temperature reading showed numbers that would kill most species in the galaxy. "Look at this," she said. "They call this activity fun. They go to dangerous places by choice. They swim in deep water. They jump from high places with only cloth to slow their fall. They eat plants that cause pain to their mouths because they enjoy the sensation." Commander Han shook his head. "No wonder they spread across their solar system so quickly. They do not fear the way other species do." The door slid open, and Medical Officer Yoon entered, carrying new reports. Her purple face looked troubled. "Have been studying their medical records," she said. "They can lose large amounts of blood and survive. They heal from wounds that would kill any Confederation species. One human in their records fell from a great height, broke 30 bones, and returned to normal activity within a year." Han looked out at the distant Earth. "They are dangerous." "More than you know," said Jin, bringing up a new image. "Watch this recording from their entertainment programs." The screen showed humans acting out a story about aliens attacking Earth. The aliens had better technology, but the humans fought back with surprising tricks and never gave up, even when their cities were destroyed. "This is how they think," said Jin. "They expect the universe to be hostile. They prepare for the worst while hoping for peace, and look what they do with other species from their world." Another image showed humans with animals they called pets, smaller creatures that lived in their homes. The humans were petting them, feeding them, talking to them with obvious affection. They formed deep emotional bonds with completely different species, Jin explained. They risk their lives for these creatures. Imagine what they would do for allies they respect. Han was about to respond when an alarm sounded. A young officer named Kim rushed into the room. "Commander! The Drekthar have sent a probe to test Earth's defenses. They did not inform the Confederation." Han's face darkened with anger. "Foolish. Where is the probe now?" Kim looked nervous. "It disappeared, sir. It entered Earth orbit and then all signals stopped." Later that day, a message arrived from Earth's United Defense Command. "We found something interesting near our planet. It appears to be yours. We would be happy to return it. Let's talk." The message included images of the Drekthar probe, now taken apart, its technology spread out on tables as human scientists studied it. In the main observation room, Ambassador Tai had arrived from the Confederation headquarters to deal with the situation. His antennae twitched with worry. "They disabled our best stealth technology as if it were a child's toy," he said, "and now they offer to return it, not as a threat, but as a friendly gesture." "There's more," said Jin, showing new images on the screen. "They've been watching us too. These are pictures of our base taken by Earth satellites. The images clearly showed their hidden Mars facility from above." "They know we're here," said Han. "They've always known. And yet they haven't threatened us or tried to remove us," said Tay. "Why?" Jin brought up one more image, a human family having a meal together, laughing. "Because they are curious, just like us. They want to learn, not fight, unless they feel threatened." A communication officer interrupted them. "Ambassador, we're receiving a request from Earth. They want to establish a direct line to discuss mutual observation rights." Tay looked surprised. "They're offering an official agreement, even after the Drekthar probe?" "Yes, sir. They specifically said they understand the difference between the Confederation's peaceful observation and the Drekthar's actions." Commander Han looked troubled. "How did they know about the Drekthar?" "We never shared our internal politics with them." Jin turned from the window, her eyes wide. "They've been studying us as carefully as we've been studying them, perhaps more so." That evening, as the Earth glowed blue against the black sky, Ambassador Tay sent an urgent message to the Confederation Council. The message was simple, but would change galactic politics forever. Humans are not just another species to be added to our collection. They observe, they learn, they adapt faster than any species we have encountered. They know more about us than we know about them. And most importantly, they can tell friends from enemies. I strongly advise against any aggressive actions. The Drekthar must be warned. Unknown to Tay, his warning would come too late. The Drekthar ships were already moving toward the human settlement on Europa, determined to test these strange creatures' strength. The universe was about to learn exactly why picking a fight with humans was a terrible mistake. The Europa research station floated on the dark, frozen ocean of Jupiter's moon. Beneath its domes, 200 humans worked and lived. Some were scientists studying the strange life in the alien sea below the ice. Others were families who came to support the mission. Children played in the artificial parks, their laughter filling the air recycling systems. Dr. Park stood at the main window, watching Jupiter rise over the icy horizon. The giant planet filled half the sky, its swirling storms creating patterns of red and orange. His daughter Sue played with blocks nearby, building towers and knocking them down. "Daddy, when can we go swimming in the ocean?" she asked. Dr. Park smiled. "Not for a long time, Sue. The water is very cold and full of strange things." What he didn't say was that the ocean was also under 10 kilometers of ice. Humans were still drilling their way down, eager to study the alien fish that somehow lived in the darkness. The peaceful morning shattered when alarms began to scream through the station. Red lights flashed in every room. Dr. Park grabbed Sue and ran to the nearest safety shelter. "Unknown ships approaching," said the station's computer voice. "All personnel to emergency positions." In the control room, Station Director Min watched the screens with horror. 3 black ships with sharp edges were coming closer. They were not human ships, they were not friendly. "Send message to Earth Defense," she ordered. "We are under attack by unknown forces." Before the message could reach Earth, the first shots hit the station. The whole structure shook. Ice cracked. Air began to leak from damaged sections. In orbit, around Mars, the Confederation observation post received urgent messages. Commander Han watched in shock as images came through. "Drekthar warships," he shouted. "They're attacking the Europa station. Who authorized this?" Ambassador Tay rushed into the communication system. "We must stop this now. The humans will see this as an act of war from the entire Confederation." But it was too late. The Drekthar ships continued their attack on the helpless research station. Commander Doe's voice came through the system. "We must test their strength. If they are as dangerous as you fear, we should know now before they join the Confederation." On Earth, the United Defense Command Center was filled with grim-faced officers. General Seo studied the incoming data as reports of the attack reached. "Them? How many civilians on the station?" she asked. 87, including 23 children, an aide responded. The room went silent. Then General Seo spoke in a calm, cold voice. "Launch rescue teams and activate the Sol Defense Fleet." In the Confederation Council chamber, emergency meetings were called. Representatives from all 37 species gathered, their voices rising in anger and fear. "The Drekthar have acted without permission," shouted one. "The humans will blame us all," cried another. Admiral Sun stood up. "Our observers report that Earth has only sent rescue ships so far. No warships. Perhaps they understand this was not the Confederation's doing." As if answering her, a message appeared on the main screen. It was from Earth's United Defense Command, addressed to the Confederation Council. Everyone expected threats or declarations of war. Instead, the message was short and calm. "We request an explanation for this unprovoked attack on a civilian research station. We expect your response within 1 Earth Day." Commander Han looked at Ambassador Tay. "They're giving us time to explain. This is unusual." "They are being diplomatic," said Tay, "but do not mistake patience for weakness." 72 hours. Later, all contact with the Drekthar attack fleet went silent. The Confederation observation post captured everything that happened. In the council chamber, representatives watched in stunned silence as the footage played. The Drekthar ships had continued their attack on Europa, destroying half the station. Before human ships arrived, what happened next shocked everyone. The human ships were smaller than the Drekthar vessels but moved with incredible speed. They used weapons the Confederation had never seen before. Beams that passed right through standard shields, missiles that seemed to predict enemy movements. Their technology is beyond what they showed us, whispered Admiral Sun. But it was what happened after the battle that truly surprised the Watchers. The human ships disabled the Drekthar vessels instead of destroying them. Then human teams in special suits entered the damaged enemy ships and pulled out injured Drekthar soldiers. The final recording showed a human commander speaking to a captured Drekthar officer. "Your leaders sent you to die," said the human. "They abandoned you. We won't do the same. Your wounded will receive the same care as our people." In the Confederation Council chamber, silence fell. "They could have destroyed them all," said Ambassador Tay finally. "This was not just a victory. It was a message." Admiral Sun nodded slowly. "Yes, the message is clear. We can defeat you easily, but we choose to show mercy." Director June looked troubled. "The Drekthar attacked civilians, children. On most worlds, that would bring terrible revenge. Yet the humans showed restraint." "That," said Ambassador Tay, his antennae trembling, "is what makes them truly dangerous. They defeated their enemy and then showed them kindness. No species in the Confederation would do both." On Earth, General Seo received reports of the survivors from Europa. Most had been saved, though some were badly injured. Dr. Park and his daughter Sue were among those rescued. "What do we do now, General?" asked an aide. General Seo looked at the stars visible through the window. "Now we wait for the Confederation's explanation, and we prepare just in case this wasn't the last attack." The huge door slid open silently as Commander Han entered the Earth's Global History Archive. The room was large and filled with soft light. Rows of data storage units lined the walls, containing the complete history of human civilization. This was an honor few aliens had received. After the Europa incident, the humans had surprised the Confederation by increasing cooperation rather than cutting ties. They offered access to their historical records as a gesture of trust. Han was met by the archive director, an older human woman named Dr. Lee. "Welcome, Commander," she said with a small bow. "Where would you like to begin your research?" Han had prepared for this moment. "I wish to understand human conflicts, your wars." Dr. Lee nodded and led him to a special viewing room. "We have prepared materials covering our major historical conflicts. Some of it may be difficult to watch." For the next 3 days, Han barely left the viewing room. He watched recordings, read accounts, and studied the long, bloody history of human warfare. What he saw kept him awake at night. On the 4th day, Ambassador Tay joined him. He found Han staring at images of an ancient battle. "You look troubled, my friend," said Tay. Han pointed to the screen. "These humans fought with metal swords and shields. They had no advanced technology, yet they created battle formations and strategies we still teach in our military academies today." He changed the image to a more recent conflict. 200 years ago, they fought a war that covered their entire planet. Millions died. Then, within 6 years of that war's end, they split the atom and entered the nuclear age. "Their technology advances quickly during conflicts," Tay observed. "Too quickly," said Han. "Most species develop spaceflight 500 years after. Discovering electricity. Humans did it in less than 200 years. During that time, they fought 3 global wars." Han showed more images. Humans fighting in frozen lands, in burning deserts, in thick jungles. "They can fight anywhere," he said. "No environment stops them. Our soldiers need special equipment to function in different climates. Humans adapt and keep fighting." Dr. Lee entered the room with fresh data chips. "I thought you might find these interesting," she said. "These are records of human resistance movements. The new images showed small groups of humans fighting against much larger forces. Even when they lose battles, they continue fighting," Han said quietly. "They hide, they adapt, they come back stronger." "There's one more thing you should see," said Dr. Lee, inserting another data chip. The screen showed simulation results from Earth's military planning division. The simulations measured how effectively humans fought under different conditions. "Notice the efficiency ratings," Dr. Lee pointed. "When humans fight for resources or territory, they fight at standard levels. But when they fight to protect others, especially their young, their effectiveness increases by 300%. Han stared at the numbers. That cannot be correct. The data is accurate, Dr. Lee said. We fight hardest not for ourselves but for each other. That evening, Han prepared his report for the Confederation Council. As he worked, he found Ambassador Tay in the archive hallway, watching a recording of human children playing. I've made a discovery, said Tay. Something I missed before. He showed Han a series of images, humans throughout their history. Despite changing clothes and technology, one thing remained constant. They smiled, they laughed, they played with their children. Even during their darkest times they maintained joy, said Tay. Most species lose their happiness as they develop technology and face the harshness of the universe. Humans never did. Han nodded slowly. And there's something else. Something the military analysts call the spite factor. He brought up new data on his tablet. Humans will accept significant self-damage to ensure an opponent's defeat. No other species calculates victory this way. A soft voice interrupted them. That's not entirely accurate. They turned to find General Seo, the commander who had led the response to the Europa attack. We don't fight because we enjoy it, she said. We fight because we must, and we fight hardest when protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Han bowed slightly. The Drekthar learned this lesson at great cost. General Seo's face showed no emotion. The Drekthar attacked children. They could have destroyed our entire station. Instead, they damaged it enough to study our response. How did you know? Tay asked. Because it's what we would have done, said General Seo. Test the enemy's strength without forcing them to use everything they have. She paused. Except we would never have targeted civilians. Later that night, Han completed his report to the Confederation Council. The final paragraph read, Humans have fought themselves for their entire recorded history. Each conflict pushed them to develop new technologies and strategies. They are most dangerous when defending others or when backed into a corner with no escape. Their efficiency in combat increases exponentially under these conditions. Most concerning is their capacity for what they call total war, the complete focus of a society's resources toward victory, no matter the cost. He added one personal note. In the Europa incident, we did not see humans at war. We saw humans showing restraint. If they had chosen otherwise, I believe the Drekthar fleet would have been completely destroyed. Han sent the report and then stood at the window, looking out at the night sky of Earth. Lights from human cities spread across the dark land below, reaching toward the horizon. They fight like demons, he whispered to himself, but not because they hate their enemies. They fight because they love what they are protecting. The Great Hall of the Galactic Confederation was packed with representatives from all 37 member species. The curved walls glowed with soft blue light as Admiral Sung took the center platform. Behind her, the giant viewing screen showed images of Earth, spinning slowly against the blackness of space. We have studied the humans for one full cycle, she began. We have watched them, tested them, and learned from them. Today we must decide our official policy toward Earth and its colonies. The room buzzed with nervous voices. The Europa incident had frightened many. The Drekthar, once proud and aggressive, had become strangely quiet since their defeat. Ambassador Tay stepped forward. The science team recommends peaceful contact only, no military actions against humans under any circumstances. Representative from the mineral-based Karen species raised a crystalline arm. Are they really so dangerous? They have only a few colonies in their own solar system. Commander Han activated the main screen, showing footage from the Europa battle. The human ships moved with incredible speed, their weapons cutting through Drekthar shields like they were not there. This was not their full military strength, Han explained. These were rescue ships designed to save lives, not take them, and yet they disabled 3 Drekthar warships in less than 20 minutes. The room grew quiet as they watched. There's more, said Director Jin, stepping forward. We have analyzed their historical records. Every major technological advancement they made came during or immediately after conflicts. They developed atomic power, computers, and space travel all within 200 years, a speed no other species has matched. Admiral Sung nodded gravely. When they feel threatened, they innovate at an alarming rate, and they fight differently than we do. New images appeared on the screen. human soldiers rescuing each other, medics running into danger to save the wounded, people forming human chains to pull others from disasters. They value individual lives in a way most species do. Not, said Jin. They will risk everything to save one person. And they fight hardest not for territory or resources, but for each other. The vote took less than an hour, a record in Confederation history. The result was unanimous. The human directive became law with immediate effect. No military actions against Earth or its colonies would be permitted by any Confederation species. Peaceful contact and trade were encouraged, but humans would not be provoked. Admiral Sung wrote the official explanation. Mutual respect between civilizations requires recognition of sovereign boundaries and cultural differences. But in private meetings and quiet conversations across Confederation space, a different reason spread. Humans don't fight to win, they fight to end threats permanently. Only challenge them if you're prepared to become a footnote in their history books. 3 months later, Earth was invited to join the Confederation with special advisory status on the Security Council, an honor usually reserved for founding members. Captain Hyun stood in the Great Hall, now as Earth's official ambassador. She smiled as she shook hands with representatives from worlds light years from her home. "We look forward to peaceful cooperation with all species," she said. Ambassador Tay leaned close to her. "Your people handled the Europa incident with remarkable restraint." Hyun's smile faded slightly. "We protect our people, Ambassador, always. But we prefer friends to enemies." 5 years passed. The humans integrated into Confederation society, sharing technology and culture. Their colonies spread to nearby star systems, always careful to choose uninhabited worlds. They were welcomed everywhere, treated with a strange mix of friendliness and caution. At the Galactic Defense Academy, Cadet Wu sat in his first tactical training class. The instructor, a veteran named Bei, handed out the new edition of the Confederation Combat Manual. Wu opened it, surprised to find a special notice. On the first page, first rule of galactic survival: never fight the humans unless you have absolutely no other choice. Even then, reconsider. Wu raised his hand. "Instructor Bei, why does our manual begin with this warning about humans? They seem peaceful enough." The room went quiet. Instructor Bei walked to the window, pointing to a human ship docked at the Academy station. "When I was younger, I served on a rescue mission to the Drekthar homeworld," he said. "A terrible solar storm had damaged their atmosphere. No one would help them because of their aggressive reputation." He turned back to the class. "The humans sent 50 ships, not because they liked the Drekthar, but because they couldn't stand by while children suffocated. The same Drekthar who had attacked their people months earlier." Bei touched the manual on Wu's desk. "We never fight the humans for 2 reasons. First, they are nearly impossible to defeat completely. They adapt, they hide, they come back stronger. And the second reason," asked Wu, "because when you help them, when you stand with them as friends, they will move stars to protect you. The only thing more dangerous than human enemies is human allies who believe you've betrayed them." As class ended, Wu lingered, watching a group of human cadets in the hallway. They were laughing, sharing stories with students from 7 different worlds. "One more question, instructor," said Wu. "If they're so dangerous, why invite them into the Confederation?" Bei smiled. "Because the only thing more dangerous than having humans in the Confederation would be having them outside it." On the view screen at the front of the classroom, Earth continued its peaceful spin, blue and green and white, home to a species that the galaxy had decided it was better to befriend than to fight. A species that even the mighty Confederation had learned to treat with careful respect. The end.